Hello everyone, version 4.7 is releasing tomorrow and so will the beta testing for version 4.8. As everyone knows, EMILIE is the next 5-star character who will be released in 4.8, and just a few hours ago, we received complete information about EMILIE's kit. The source of the information is EMILIE, and they have provided complete details about EMILIE's elemental skill, burst talents and constellations, so without further ado, let's get started. Starting with her ascension stats, EMILIE will get a crit damage bonus when we ascend her to level 90. The source didn't provide the exact numbers, but it's always the same with every character who gets either a crit rate or crit damage bonus. So EMILIE will get a total of 88.4% crit damage bonus at level 90. Moving on to her normal charged and plunging attacks at level 1. EMILIE performs up to 4 consecutive shots when using her normal attacks. Her charged attack consumes a certain amount of stamina and performs an upward slashing attack. During her plunge attack, she drops down from the air to hit the ground, attacking enemies in her path and dealing range damage as she lands. Moving on to her elemental skill. It's called Fetch Fragrance, and upon casting, she creates a casket of soft light, dealing Dendro AoE damage to nearby opponents. About the casket of soft light, it periodically fires pure dew breath at nearby enemies, dealing Dendro damage. And when the nearby enemies are in the burning state, it will occasionally generate an aroma. The casket of soft light collects nearby aroma, and when it collects 2 aromas, its level is raised. And when firing a pure dew breath, it fires an additional pure dew breath and increases the damage dealt to opponents. There can be only 1 casket of soft light at a time, and when she casts her skill, its initial level is 1, and it can be leveled up to 2 at most. Every once in a while, when EMILIE creates a casket of soft light in this way, she will send down spikes of spirit breath in front of her to penetrate her enemies, dealing Dendro damage. Moving on to her elemental burst, which is called Fragrance Interpretation. Upon using her burst, EMILIE channels the scent extracted from the casket into pure Dendro element, creating the casket of soft light 3rd order and destroying existing caskets of soft light. I have no idea what this 3rd order is, maybe it's a bad translation, or it means that the casket of soft light can be leveled up to 3 after using her burst, but I'm not sure. For the duration of its existence, the casket of soft light 3rd order does not extract nearby fragrance, but instead continuously rains down fragrance dew, attacking enemies within range and dealing Dendro damage. For the duration, a fragrance dew will descend every 0.3 seconds, and each enemy can only be targeted once every 0.7 seconds. At the end of its duration, the casket of soft light will be recreated at 1st level. If you destroy an extracted casket when you cast Scent Interpretation, the created casket inherits its previous scent and level. The elemental skill Fetch Scent does not create a casket of soft light while Fragrance Interpretation lasts. Moving on to her talents. Her first talent is called Remaining Fragrance. For every 2 aromatic charms collected, the casket of soft light 2nd level consumes the aromatic charms and precipitates clear dew fragrance, dealing Dendro AoE damage equal to 500% of EMILIE's attack to nearby enemies. Her second talent is called Distillation, and when a casket of soft light and EMILIE herself are on the field, all characters in the party will have their pyro resistance increased by 85% to burning damage. So the chances of dying during the battle will be significantly low after using her elemental skill. Her third talent increases EMILIE's damage dealt to enemies in the burning state by 36%, and the damage dealt to enemies in the original state is reduced by 90%. Moving on to EMILIE's constellations. Her C1, the damage dealt by the clear dew fragrance of fetching seasoning in her third talent is increased by 10%, but the latter requires you to unlock the talent Yukaru first. In addition, when any character in the party triggers a burning reaction on an enemy or deals Dendro damage to an enemy in the burning state, an additional fragrance rhyme is generated. This effect triggers at most once every 2.9 seconds. Her C2, when EMILIE creates casket of soft light to extract a fragrance, she gains a special tune effect that increases EMILIE's attack power by 18% for 10 seconds. This effect stacks up to 2 tiers, with each tier counting as a separate duration. Her third constellation increases the skill level of fetching flavoring by 3 levels, while her fourth constellation extends the duration of fragrance rendition by 2 seconds, and the interval between each enemy being selected as a target by fragrance dew is also reduced by 0.3 seconds. Her 5th constellation increases the skill level of fragrance interpretation by 3. Finally, after unlocking her C6, when casting Fetching Fragrance or Fragrance Interpretation, EMILIE gains Fragrance Trail Stay, which lasts for 5 seconds. For this duration, a fragrance rhyme will be generated when EMILIE performs a normal attack or critical hit, and EMILIE's normal attacks and critical hits will be converted to dendro damage that cannot be covered by enchantments. The damage dealt will be increased by a value equal to 250% of EMILIE's attack. The effect of fragrance residue will be removed when 4 fragrance rhymes are created or at the end of the duration, and she can gain the fragrance trail effect up to once every 12 seconds. Moving on to her signature weapon called Soft Lamp Elegy, which is a polearm. It has a crit rate of 7.2% and a base attack of 46 at level 1. At level 90, you can gain a total of 33.1% crit rate and 608 attack bonus. As for its passive, the attack of its user is increased by 15%, and the damage dealt is increased by 18% after triggering a burning reaction on an enemy or dealing dendro damage to an enemy in the burning state. This effect lasts for 8 seconds and stacks for up to 2 levels. 12 points of elemental energy are restored when stacked to 2 levels or when the duration of 2 levels is refreshed, and elemental energy is restored in this way up to once every 12 seconds. These effects can also be triggered when the character is not on the field, so it's pretty good. Well, that's all the information we have on EMILIE today, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss any updates.